Guys, my name is Martina and this is
Lance.
We have the pleasure of sharing with you the information that we found on Zambia. Now, this side of the room, you're going to repeat after me. One Zambia.
One Zambia.
One nation.
One nation.
One Zambia.
One Zambia.
One nation.
One
I
nation.
can't hear you. Come on, I got to feel it. One Zambia.
One Zambia.
One nation.
We're going to All right, guys, I'm going to not sing to you, but kind of go over Zambia's national anthem. And I want you to listen to the words, and it's going to lead into what Zambia is all about. Stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy and unity. Victors in the struggle for the right, we won freedom's fight, all one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hand. Let us all here people join as one, brothers under the sun. All one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace neath Zambia's sky. Like our noble eagle in his fight, Zambia prays to thee. All one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, praise be, praise be, praise be. Bless our nation. Zambia, 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 Zambia. Free men we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia prays to thee. All one, strong and free. Now, it was not until 1964 when Zambia gained its independence. So he and I were having a conversation about this, and I'm like, I mean, we're America and we love our freedom, but can you hear it in the words how proud they are of their country? So that kind of goes into the Zambia flag. So as you can see, I gave you a little handout to look at the Zambia flag. The Zambia flag, the entirety of its look represents patriotism and the nation's wealth. As you can see, the green on the back of the flag represents the country's natural resources. You can see the red stripe represents the struggle for freedom. The black stripe represents the people of Zambia. And the orange represents the country's mineral wealth. And the eagle, as you can see right at the top, represents also the freedom of Zambia and the ability to rise above the country's problems. And it's just interesting, like, just looking at the flag, like, look how simple that is, you know? So, I thought that was...
And one more thing about the flag, sorry. As you guys probably know, just by American flag, most of the time you're going to see, and this isn't just with American flags, but all of the stuff that's going to be like this is going to be in the middle towards the pole. Well, this is actually going to be on the waving part, so it's very, very unique in that sense. So something you really don't see. It's a nice little touch.
All right, we'll try one more time. One Zambia.
One Zambia.
One nation.
One nation.
We're getting there. All right. All right, take your paper and flip it over. For same sheet, we'll flip it over. The next interesting thing that we found about Zambia is one of their natural, I guess, wonders of the world. And we're kind of going to show a video for you because the pictures don't do it justice. You have to see it here. Can you guys hear that? Lucy Uatunya.
The Great Zambezi River runs through southern Africa. A massive spray ahead in the distance is the Victoria Falls. The rainy season finishes in May, and the volume of the river water reaches its peak. Spray rises up from the waterfall basin, covering the whole area in mist. It should be possible to have a panoramic view from here, but not at all. To have a full view, visitors have to wait till the dry season, river started to run across the plateau later on. The river eroded away the sedimentary rocks in the most downstream area of the plateau, and the first waterfall was created. Gradually, sedimentary rocks were eroded one after another, and the fall slowly made its way upstream. This is where the first waterfall was formed, about 80 kilometers downstream from the current one. It could be described as a 200,000-year-old waterfall fossil. This is where the second fall was. It is believed to date back to 180,000 years ago. The current fall is the eighth. The front edge erodes at a rate of 10 centimeters a year. Upriver, we can see evidence of new cracks which could become the next waterfall. It's the small gorge seen in the center of this shot. When the next fall is made, the last one ends its roll and becomes a gorge. The long journey of the Victoria Falls still goes on.
That's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the top wonders of the world. I visited, almost visited Petrus and Jordan. That's one of the wonders of the world. But this out here just is uncomparable. You can't compare. But moving on, Victoria Falls. That's the name of it, Victoria Falls. It sits between the border of Zimbabwe and Zambia, and as it said, it runs 1 mile wide. We have a student coming in from Zambia, and I guess you want to make conversation. Musi Uwatunya. So when she gets here, you can share that with her. I learned about the Victoria Falls, and so Musi Uwatunya. It stands for smoke that thunders. So basically, you can be probably about 30 miles away, and you can see the mist coming up from the fall, and it looks that way. So smoke, that's what it means. And then Victoria Falls was named after Queen Victoria. And yep, that's it. Yeah.
All right, everybody will switch to your pictures on this one right here. These lovely ladies in the water. All right, so pretty much what this is showing right here is the exact opposite of what everybody else has kind of already presented about. How women have been unequal, inequality and stuff like that in their communities and in their culture. Well, in Zambia it's a little different because in the African country, it's very, very unique that they actually get to go out and hunt and fish and supply for a lot of their community and their tribes and everything like that. This is a pretty good explanation of it. They're all out there working, whether they're gathering water. As you see, she has a snake in her hand, or a lizard, or I can't tell what that is, but whatever it is, it's dinner. So they're about to have themselves a little feast, and they look pretty excited about it. So you can see that they do have some self-preservation in that, and they're actually counted on in their culture. Going over to the next one, which should be on the backside, the coat of arms. This is actually used kind of by the president and the people of importance in their culture. So pretty much this has a pretty big meaning behind it. The eagle here stands for, at the top, the eagle stands for the liberty and the ability for them to rise up above above all their issues and stuff like that, all their hope. And then the pick and hoe represent the economic backbone, which is agricultural and mining. And then you're also going to see the shield right there that they're holding. That does represent the Victoria Falls. So that's the cascading water going over Black Rock. And then we'll go on to the copper picture.
Okay. You guys can flip. This is copper right here. Who can tell me a little trivia here? Put my question up. Okay. I want someone to tell me who founded copper in the land of Zambia. Was it A, Donald Sterling, B, Frederick Russell Burnham, C, Bill Self, or D, Kunta Kinte?
You're only one answering the question.
B.
Self.
B.
Bill Self.
Answer everything.
Answer is B. Frederick Russell Burnham. Now, this guy was a explorer. He was a U.S. citizen, but he had his dealings in Africa as an explorer. And when he was in the USA, he did some exploring. He found copper. He would go look like all that kind of stuff. So he came back over. One of the kings there in Africa, one of the British army, put him in charge to go on exploration to find something, and he recognized the copper. He saw that Zambia had all these resources, and copper was a big deal over there. So he found it, and that's what pretty much started the economy for the Zambians. It was named the Copper Belt because they made copper mining stations there in the central part of Africa. Through his discovery, the people of Zambia were able to find jobs working at the mining stations, and that's pretty much what got their economy going. In modern day, now it's not so good because the government, they did a poor job of upkeeping and investing in the mining stations. So right now, copper is not a big commodity over there. It's a very poor country, and they're trying to get it together. And we thought that was important because that had a lot to do with their economy. That's how half the people have jobs. That's where they work. So.
All right. Going into some of the rituals in Zambia, one of the main rituals for boys turning into men, which was perceived in roots. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but it's actually pronounced Mukanda ceremony, and it starts off with the boys being circumcised, and then they further go on for weeks to up to months of activities teaching them how to survive, disciplinary actions, and also they get taught how to make costumes and masks that are pretty valuable to their culture. Kind of the way that boils down is at the end they burn the mask and burn some of that stuff that they've made and everything like that, and they have dances around a big fire of that burning. So that's kind of how that boils down at the end. And like I said, it transfers the boys into manhood. And then next we have African Freedom or Liberation Day. This is on May 25th. It's a special holiday for all Africans, including Zambians. Let's see. It's actually celebrated and even watched in a couple different countries, including countries in Europe, America, other African countries in the Middle East as well. But there's a couple different ways that they celebrate it. There's, there were meetings that they have. There are panels that they have questionings about, discussions. There are street marches, lectures, and speeches, all of the above go into part of this Liberation Day. And like we said from the beginning, they do take pride in their freedom. It did take them so long to get, and they're not going to forget that ever. So.
Okay, the rituals that I researched, I was very 50-50 on it. Some of it was clear, some of it was not clear, but this is what I did find out. In Zambia, there are tribes, and in those tribes, each one has their own ritual. So, for example, like in parts of Zambia, some lands have a good harvest and some don't. And there's a ritual for celebrating the harvest. And then there are rituals for not having the harvest and where they call on their gods. So that's called I don't know how to pronounce this just yet, but it's Kili Wamuna. It's a Zambian traditional ceremony that celebrates the harvest. It's a 2-day event, and all they do is celebrate with dancing, singing, and food over the course of 2 days. To me, I felt that was an interesting part of their culture because it's how they unite, it's how they get together, and they're big on tradition, and they're big on passing down what they know. That's how they keep their culture going. You gotta tell your tradition, tell your stories through the singing, the dancing, and the food. So that was what I found through our research.
Then we also have some of the country's contentions, and I started out with the health issues. Health is a pretty big thing there. More specifically, the ability to maintain sanitary styles. So I have some pretty cool stats here, but I'm gonna get to that here at the end. Here's a few of the things that I wrote down. Whether it's poor water conditions or the lack of knowledge for healthy habits, these people still struggle to maintain their health at high levels. Also, the community struggles with living conditions, the sanitary, such as using restrooms and everything like that. They don't have the ability, the luxury, rather I say, that we have in America, just to go into the restroom and be able to take care of business or whatever and not have to worry about smells or anything like that. One thing that I did come across, though, is that they have been working closely with not only just Americans, but other countries that have the economic power to help them build from that. And here are some of those stats I was talking about. Starts out with 75,800 people have improved their water services, which means whether it's clean water to drink, water to bathe in, whatever it may be, it's not going to have bacteria in it anymore, so that's a good plus. 51,825 people have improved their sanitation services, such as like hand washing, learning how to clean themselves properly, and not going into dirty lakes anymore. And then the last stat that I have was 591,898 people have improved their hygiene practices, and that would be closer to using restrooms and figuring out how to actually get soap and stuff like that. So that's a big monumental change for them that they have not been used to the last century.
All right, one more time. One nation.
One nation.
Oh, my bad. One Zambia.
One Zambia.
One nation.
One nation.
All right.